through foggy London town, the sun was shining.
How you doing? My name is Dallin Washington, and I am here for another reaction. And this reaction I'm doing is going to be on the legendary Judy Garland. I'm going to do this reaction on her singing to the comedian Terry Thomas, the song titled A Foggy Day. I hope you enjoy this reaction. But I also want to add this little FYI. This performance was done on her legendary short-lived Judy Garland show. 1963, it premiered in that year and ended in 1964. But I want to do this performance because it is just for all actors who are into musical theater. I think Judy Garland is the greatest representation of what it is to have that type of skill, that type of know-how to get a lyric through and to not also sing it, but to act it. Because I feel within this performance, she is just really giving an actor's playbook to how to get a song through and how to get it across to an audience. Not only an audience, but to the person that's next to her. So let's get into it. Let's really get into this performance because I just feel like this is one of her greatest moments. But yes, let's get into this legendary entertainer, Miss Judy Garland, singing A Foggy Day.
I was a stranger in the city, out of town with the people I knew. I had that feeling of self-pity, what to do, what to do, what to do. The outlook was decidedly blue. But as I walked through the foggy streets alone, turned out to be the luckiest day I've known. A foggy day in London town had me low, had me done. I viewed the morning with alarm. British Museum had lost its charm. Would this thing last? But the age of miracles hadn't passed, for suddenly I saw you there, and through foggy the sun was shining.
goodness. Wow. Wow. That just really drew me in to the point that there was no stopping in the middle to even say what I really, really wanted to say. But I'm going to say this: she's just brilliant. She just wheels you in, don't she? She just wheels you in through her voice, through her eyes, through her facial expression, and she's so vulnerable. She is very vulnerable. I just couldn't keep my eyes off of her. It's just something about her that you just can't keep your eyes off of what she is doing. And I tell you, and there was it's like somebody bumped something in the background. If you could hear it, it's like somebody knocked something over. But even in that moment, you just couldn't tear your eyes away from this moment. That moment of it was just full of the voice resonated so. It was just, it's just, you couldn't just keep your eyes off of her. Even with the distraction in the background that happened, it just was like, I didn't care. It's because it was just, I couldn't really just take my eyes off the fact that this woman is just giving a performance to one person sitting beside her, but also an audience full of people, cameras all around, and it's just like, it didn't matter because she was just in her element, in her zone. And for actors, that takes a lot of skill, a lot of guts. That takes it takes discipline, and a God-given discipline, because because of something being knocked over that could have happened, that could have thrown her off, literally. But she was just not there. I felt like she was somewhere else. I think it's just it didn't matter because she was just in her element. There is not a lot of adjectives to explain Judy Garland's talent. She is legendary, and her legacy just keeps growing and growing and growing, because people, when you see one performance, I feel like you want to see them all. And and yes, we know of her past and what has happened in her personal situations, but boy, it never showed in her performance. I don't think anything that has happened to this woman, or whatever angst that has happened to her, has showed in any of her performances. And I swear, she is just amazing. 4'11", they say. She was a small woman, but boy, was she mighty, mighty big in voice and in personality, and plus in presence. She has a presence. Even in this small clip, it's just her presence is undeniable. And Terry Thomas is just sitting there taking it all in. Like, I don't think he could even breathe. He was not even smoking during the whole entire performance. It was so noticeable. He was sitting there and that cigar at the side, and it took him to put the cigar back in his mouth just to clap, because I don't know. I just cannot say that this is an undeniable great performance by a legend who is just undeniable. And Judy Garland is that legend. She is, and her legend will ever, 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 ever grow, because people like me are just in awe of this woman's talent. And I don't think anybody will ever, ever, ever come close to that. Not one person I can tell you who cannot capture the je ne sais quoi that is of Judy Garland. So, if you enjoyed this reaction, if you love this reaction, please join, share, and subscribe, and comment. Supply me with some more singers that you would love for me to look into and to acknowledge. I am all for that. And like I say, join the conversation. Plus, if you want to see more of me, I do have another live show called Truth Behind the Truth. We air every Saturday on West Coast time, 6 o'clock. Eastern time, 8 o'clock. No, Eastern time, 9 o'clock. Central time, 8 o'clock. But if you want to hear more, hey, we are via YouTube, via Facebook, via Twitter. Come and join the conversation, and let's have a Truth Behind the Truth talk, okay? So, everybody have a blessed day, and I will see you for the next reaction. Bye.